that's the information from Miko. So everyone, please, if you're interested or want to talk more to him, please contact directly to Miko. And yep, thank you, Miko, for the presentation. And yep, it's really appreciate, and it's really wonderful. And we move on to the next interesting talks by Adityo Dwi Jananto from Hot Indonesia. So Adityo, the stage is yours, please.
Oh, okay, thank you, Hari, for the time. Hello, everyone. My name is Adityo Dijananto. I'm a senior technical advisor from HOT, and I've been working with HOT since 8 years, 2012. Today, I'm going to talk about the state of OSM data in Indonesia as part of HOT 10 years anniversary. Okay, next. Okay, before I'm moving on the main topic, I'm going to give you a quick brief about HOT project in Indonesia. HOT Indonesia already started their project in 2011 with Australian government with focus on urban mapping. After that, we have 6-year project with Australian government again to enabling community in Indonesia as well as to increase OSM data exposure data. As today, we have a project with USA to train community and government to use OSM data and managing the field survey activity. Next. So the tools that are being used for my presentation are Osmium, OGR to OGR, TechInfo website, Awesome website, and also JSON. I'm sure some of you are already familiar with this tool, and I use this tool to get statistics and find the quality of the data. Next. So using TechInfo for Indonesia, I found that the most used OSM tech for Indonesia are building and highway. From the statistic that we conclude that OSM user in Indonesia mainly mapping for building and roads. I think that's understandable since building and road data are useful for humanitarian purpose, especially for disaster risk reduction. Also, the road data here in Indonesia are being used by private companies such as a ride-hauling private company. Okay, yeah, next. Oh, wait, previous. Yeah, okay. So this chart is about the building growth by year. As you can see from this chart, we have high spike of building growth in 2017 and 2018. Because in 2017, we have a citywide mapping project from USAID to map entire city, building, roads, and also the critical infrastructure. We also have a national student mapping competition called University Battle Mapping. In 2018, we still have citywide mapping project in Semarang. There are also national mapping competition held by our National Disaster Management Agency or BNPB, since they are interested in our activity in the previous year and want to replicate at the national level. So from the 1,000 building in 2010, now we already reached 31 million building map. Okay, next. But these 31 million buildings are only focused on only a few provinces. As you can see in this map, the most building map are only focused on Java Island, while in the eastern part of Indonesia, which is Sumatra Island, there's still a list building map. Also, in the western part, as in Papua and Maluku, they also list building map. And meanwhile, the next, yeah, okay, next. Yeah, meanwhile, if we comparing with the second map, the most highest multi-hazard risk index province taken from BNPB are located in Java and Sumatra Island. So what we conclude from this map is if we want to map a new area in the future, I think we should map Sumatra, Papua, and Maluku because they still have list building map there. So we can support the disaster risk reduction government to support them with the exposure mapping activity. Okay, next. Moving on the road growth by year, you can see in this chart that starting from 2018 until now, the road is increased because in 2018 we start Indonesian road mapping project from Facebook. So this project is aimed to map a road Indonesia with help from AI generated data. But those data does not directly upload to OpenStreetMap because the data needs to be checked by several quality team before we can say that this data already good enough to upload into OpenStreetMap. Okay, next. So moving on the data quality, I took two examples from the most mapped tags in Indonesia, which is building and highway. As you can see from this slide, building have more undocumented value than road. This undocumented value are represented with non-check mark button. While the value that have check mark button, it means that the value have documentation in wiki. Another thing that I want to focus on this text is, as you can see in the red box, these are incorrect tagging value. Let's take one example in the building. As you can see here in the building, you see value as bangunan. So bangunan means it is Indonesian translation of building. So you read this as a building equal to bangunan, which is incorrect. And I think we need to fix that, and we can start to fix that. Okay, next. So for the second part of the data quality check, I used Bogor City as my case study, since Bogor City are part of Greater Jakarta metropolitan area. And you can see in this slide that building have lots of warning, lots of error compared with the road. I think this error because the user who upload this data in JOSM, they have poor internet connection. So when they want to upload it using JOSM, the connection failed and they want to re-upload it again, but they don't know that some of the part is already uploaded to OpenStreetMap. This error can fix it easily, but the warning, we need to fix it carefully one by one. While for the road, I think the most common warning that I found in this area is unknown way, and we can ignore it since if we don't know the name, it's better to leave it. Okay, next. Yeah. Next. Okay, so moving forward, I think there are several points to consider. First, I think we need to improve OSM Wiki in Indonesia. Since we have lots of the undocumented tag here in Indonesia, I think it's we better to start document those tag in Wiki in order to let everyone know about the tags that are being used in Indonesia. And secondly, I think we need to start map outside Java Island. As you know, in my previous slide, Sumatra also considered high for multi-hazard risk index. And if we want to support our disaster risk reduction initiative, we can start help by map Sumatra, Maluku, and also Papua. And the last is there are lots of tools and resources outside there for mapping and data quality. But this tool, it's only in English, while some of people in Indonesia have limited capability in English. So I think it would be great if we have localization in our native language to support people who have limitation in English. Okay, I think that's all from my side. Thank you everyone for the time. Yeah, thank you. Over to you, Hari.
Thank you, Aditya. What a great presentation.
Yeah.
And yes, we still have a time for Q&A session. So everyone, please do put your question or comments in the chat box, and we will be delivered to the Aditya. And also, while waiting the question or the comments for Aditya, all of you guys can grab a snacks, drink your coffee and tea, make sure stretch your body, make sure you don't get the Zoom fatigue, right? So yeah, we make sure we still enjoy this hot summit for the entire day. So please do. There is one question from Anjar. Currently, where is the most unmapped area in Indonesia, Aditya?
So according to the data that I gather from Download GeoFabric and compare with Disaster Ninja, I think the most least unmapped area in Indonesia is currently in Sumatra, which is they have a very few number building map, as well as the roads also have a very few roads is being mapped based on Disaster Ninja website.
Okay. Also, reminder to all of you, we also still have 2 more blocks of Hot Summit. One is Africa and Europe block that will be started at 10 p.m. UTC, and the Americas block will be started at 3 p.m. UTC. Another question from Faye. When engaging with the mapping communities in Indonesia, what are the challenges you have encountered?
I think based on my experience, the challenge, of course, is first of all, is the language barrier challenge, because some of the tools are still in English, which is not everyone, especially in the suburban or rural area, it's really familiar with English. Sometimes we need to translate, we need to change the translation into Bahasa, but sometimes the translation is not cover all the whole part of the software and tools that we use. So it's like a combination, and sometimes we teach them the English and we translate it into Bahasa. And the second part, of course, the mapper retention, because the community, it's we don't know how free they are. Sometimes that the one that we are training, after that we train it again in the future, like in the few months, when we ask they again, which we ask them again, they answer that, oh, we forget that because after the training we need to do our daily work, something like that. So it's mapping retention also, it's a part of our challenge here in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you. So meaning the localized the tools mapping equipment is really important, because not all of us using English as our mother tongue. So yeah, thank you, Aditya, for your time and for your wonderful presentation. And yep, guys, now we are going to entering the next talk by the Kuniharu